Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Michael for Ford Truck Enthusiasts, and today we're asking, is the F-150 Tremor really a baby Raptor? Let's find out. Short answer, no. Now, before we dive into the features of what the Tremor is itself, let's go ahead and define where it sits in the Ford F-150 off-roading kind of hierarchy. At one end of the spectrum, we have the FX4 package. Next up, we've got the Rattler, which is coming later this year as a 2023 model, and that's going to take the XL trim level of the F-150. It's going to add the FX4 package, exclusive wheels and tires, and a few other styling goodies. Next up, we've got the F-150 Tremor, which is its own trim level, not necessarily a package. And of course, we've got the King Daddy F-150 Raptor, which has adjustable suspension, 35 and 37-inch tires, the high-output version of the 3.5 EcoBoost, and a whole other number of luxury and performance features that make it pretty unique. All right, so what makes an F-150 Tremor? Well, the first thing to understand is that the Tremor in the F-150 series is actually a trim level, not a package. You select the Tremor as your vehicle, and it comes with a bunch of standard options. You're gonna get the visual package up here. There's orange or yellow-orange accents everywhere. We got the line here. We've got the tow hooks down here, the amber lighting in the headlights. You're gonna get 33-inch General Grabber all-terrain tires on 18-inch matte gray wheels, which look really good. You're gonna get side rails that are styled similar to the ones on the F-150 Raptor, the F-150 Tremor badge, plastic-looking heat vents. Yeah, there's a little bit of an indentation here, so maybe some air is getting out, but they don't look as functional as the ones that I've seen on Mustangs and so forth. Anyway, moving on, under the hood, 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. Hey guys, jumping in here from the future. After we shot the video review for the truck, Ford actually made a big announcement. In its first year, you could only get the 3.5 EcoBoost, but now, if you want to modify, if you want that great V8 sound, you can get the Coyote starting with the 2023 Tremor. All right, now in terms of suspension, the Tremor gets revised front knuckles and upper control arms. It's a little bit taller. And of course, it gets Tremor-specific shocks. They're monotubes up front and twin tubes out back. They actually say Tremor in the back. They're tuned, according to Ford, to be softer at lower speeds, which is really, really nice, and for what Ford describes as more severe off-road events. The one thing I will say is that it's important to know is that this is still a leaf spring truck out here, so no coiled shocks like you would find in the Tundra TRD Pro and, of course, in the Raptor. So that is one thing that's kind of holding this back from having a better suspension. Out back here, of course, you guys, you're gonna notice the orange Tremor badging, which is gonna come with every Tremor. You're also gonna notice the dual exhaust kind of style bumper that you would get in the Raptor. Now, in terms of rear gearing, the Tremors all come with 373 rear gears with a locking differential, and you can get an optional torsion differential up front, which is what this one has. On the inside of the Tremor, you're gonna find more orange accents. We're gonna get the orange flag over here, orange stitching on the steering wheel, orange Tremor badge in the seat, which is set up with this kind of two-toned leather / fabric. And you're also gonna get the console style shifter. I've already covered this radio in a couple other videos, so check out our King Ranch review or our F-150 Power Boost review for more on this particular radio, but Sync 4, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Very nice radio overall. As you can see, we've got kind of the dual climate control stuff over here and the simpler analog / digital gauges right here. This is actually my favorite instrument cluster for the modern F-150s. I like it more than the all digital ones since it's just a little bit more simple and a little bit more classic, and it really does a nice job of showing you everything that you'd want to use. Standard F-150 in here, of course, but just some nice styling touches with this kind of dark metallic gray trim here and this kind of plastic composite look. So how much does it cost? Well, like I said, when you're buying a Tremor, you pick the Tremor trim and then you pick one of 3 equipment group packages, basically a base model, which is going to cost you about $55,000. This is a mid-tier trim, which is spec'd as is at $63,000, which we'll go over in just a second. And you can step up to the high trim, which is more like a Lariat, and that's going to cost around $69,000 or $70,000. Now, in terms of our particular loaner, ours is spec'd with Equipment Group 401A package. Again, this is the mid-level package. It also has Ford Copilot 360 Assist 2.0, the power sliding rear window, Pro Power on board 2 kilowatt hours, interior work surface, trailer tow package, partitioned lockable storage, the front axle with torsion differential, which is one of those things that you can usually only get with the Raptor, tailgate step, 360-degree camera package, and my favorite, the Tough Bed spray and liner. And all of that for this particular truck, which is in stone gray metallic, for $63,120 MSRP. And just for a little bit of pricing context, last year we tested out an FX4 package XLT High, so it had every option that the XLT could possibly have with a more expensive engine, and that was also $63,000, but it wasn't as capable off-road. And of course, we just tested out the fully spec'd out F-150 Raptor, which came in at $82,000, almost a full $20,000 more than this. But if you spec a Raptor with the torsion front end, you pick a fancy paint color, maybe the 360-degree cameras and a couple other little things, you can get those for about $72,000, so about $3,000 to $4,000 more than a spec'd out version of this. So that's kind of the pricing context, and I think what it really shows, when you have a similar number of options to the non-special edition one, you just can't recreate this in the aftermarket for the same price. It's actually more expensive, which always surprises me. All right, behind the wheel of the F-150 Tremor, we're out here at Rower Flat OHV testing it out on some trails and on some fire roads. Kev, what did you think? Did you have fun?
Yes, I had so much fun.
All right, what do you think of the truck? Think it's good off-roader?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too, you guys. As we talked about earlier in the video, this package is going to sit between the FX4 and the Raptor, and eventually when it comes out, between the Rattler and the Raptor. And so what you will notice is that immediately versus a standard FX4 F-150, this is a nice step up. Beefier tires, larger tires, smoother on the bumps, and it can generally handle a lot more. That being said, having just driven the Raptor, it is a noticeable step backwards. And of course, this isn't surprising because the Raptor has 35 and 37-inch available tires. It has a much longer traveling suspension and a beefier shocks, and they are adjustable. So you've got this Baja mode that you can click into, and it's like floating down a cloud. And what you're gonna notice about the Tremor is just that you gotta take it a little bit slower, you know, which is pretty standard for off-roading. The Raptor and that Baja style is a much different setup for a truck. This is more traditional. But that being said, if you keep it low and slow, it's a pretty smooth ride, and I'm very impressed. And the tires, these General Grabber tires, yeah, here we go, going a little bit too fast. We got a lot of loose rocks right here. Oh, and here comes the pavement where it's gonna smooth out. You know, these General Grabber tires are excellent. We were going on some loose sand, some rocks, some of those bigger rocks like we just went over now, and they are really, really, really nice tires. Nice and grippy, you know, for something that isn't a full mud terrain, but not too loud and not too crazy here on the pavement as well. Speaking of which, not much road noise. Really, really nice. What Ford says in their description of the suspension setup, these shocks are tuned for slow driving, both off-road and on. And this is, you know, not quite as smooth and comfortable as the Raptor, but it's up there as one of the smoothest F-150s that you can buy today. And it's one of the reasons that I really like it. Now, in terms of how could we make this more perfect, et cetera, you know, look, if you had 35-inch tires, I think it might be a little bit more capable. You know, if this somehow qualified to drop the leaf springs out back for a coil suspension setup, I think, again, that would improve it, but it would probably make it more expensive. The bottom line is that this can hang out on trails for the most part along with the Raptor at very, very slow speeds, but the moment you want to get up to bigger speeds, the Raptor is where it really shines because it just absorbs so many of the bumps. Woo! Fast car. The other thing I'll say is that, you know, in terms of like departure angles and kind of carrying over obstacles and stuff, even with 33s and a slight lift on this, you don't have the most ground clearance, and it's another place where this isn't necessarily a baby Raptor. Still, despite not living up to the halo amazingness of the Raptor, I'm really, really impressed with the truck. So here we are back on a normal road. And I have to say that cruising around in this thing, particularly at slow speeds, hitting speed bumps, kind of crappy asphalt, this thing is really comfortable for a pickup truck. Obviously not as good as the Raptor. I digress, and maybe not quite as smooth as the Tundra TRD Pro, which also has the kind of the coil suspension setup instead of leaf springs out in its rear end as well. But that being said, great on the highways for cruising, and it's just a really, really comfortable truck. The only place that really upsets it if you get into an area with kind of a washboard effect, we have that effect. It's my little torture test in West Los Angeles on the 405 freeway. This is that section of the highway I was talking about, and this is relatively comfortable for a solid axle, full frame truck. Oh, here we go. Here we go. But not the worst we've encountered, right, Kev?
No.
No, yeah. So this isn't that bad as a truck. Like I said, middle of the road, maybe average plus. You know, a lot of trucks, they do a lot worse than this, and the Raptor is the king of this section in terms of trucks that I've driven on this section of highway. The takeaway here is that when you put big fat off-roading tires on big trucks, it makes them really comfortable to drive, and funny enough, they handle better too. So win-win for everybody, particularly if you're into off-roading. To me, as someone who enjoys going off-roading, this is a truck that doesn't really sacrifice road comfort in the name of off-road performance, and it's why I would recommend, if you're thinking about getting an XLT or an XL in that $55,000 to $60,000 range with the FX4 package in this Super Crew configuration, stepping up here to the Tremor is a good value, and I think you get a lot more performance out of it. There's less body roll in the corners with this thing, and it's smoother, softer, and more comfortable around town. It's an all-around better truck in terms of suspension. Of course, you get the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, which is a total barn burner of an engine. This thing will, if you brake boost it when you launch in two-wheel drive mode, it'll smoke the tires, even with traction control engaged. It is a terrific engine. It's just, you know, people call it the baby Raptor, and the Raptor is just next league, I would say. And that's just less about this being a bad truck and more about the Raptor just being so incredible at that amazing rare thing that it does, that unusual setup that makes it so smooth on and off-road. Wrapping it up with the F-150 Tremor, I really like this truck. It is smooth, fast, capable, fun, comfortable, all those different things. You know, look, F-150s are supremely practical as work, family, and toy type trucks. If you're looking at an XL or an XLT and you're thinking about getting the FX4 off-road package, if you're thinking about getting the towing package, if you're thinking about upgrading the infotainment at all, I think it's a really smart bet if you're into off-roading, if you're into towing and all those things, to step up to the Tremor. I think it makes a lot of sense. This is not a truck that you could build for cheap, you know, on the aftermarket if you were to spec out the truck to have the FX4 package and then do your aftermarket mods. I think this steps in and is a better value as a trim level, as a performance package. That being said, instead of maxing this thing out, instead of bringing it up to about $69,000, $70,000 with every option that the Tremor option, I would recommend going up to the Raptor. You can get a base Raptor for the low 70s. Now, that of course is assuming you can find one. Supply chain issues and that being a rarer, hotter truck do make it more challenging to get a Raptor. But if you're going sticker for sticker, I would upgrade to the Raptor instead of going to the full luxury mode on this, mostly because you're getting the better suspension, bigger wheels and tires, and all those things, and a little extra luxury as well that comes with it. It's just a better truck and better at being out here off-road and higher speeds. Still, the F-150 Tremor is no slouch, and it's a terrific truck. Thank you so much to Ford for the loaner. We really appreciated our time with this truck, and thank you all for watching. I hope you all are well and safe, and we will see you on the next video. Please like, subscribe, do all those types of things. What do you guys think about the F-150 Tremor? Drop a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're over at Ford Truck Enthusiasts in our forum threads, join up on our forums and comment there. Thanks.